Hi, it's Dr. Vox, licensed psychologist in the state of Texas, and let's get to it. So, the old, inappropriate, and unfounded, and still too often used BPD descriptors. These include manipulative, difficult, untreatable, and attention seeking. Well, let me tell you, in this video, we're going to focus on attention seeking behaviors, but also the paradox that a disorder that seeks and benefits from appropriate attention seeking shouldn't get it, right? That there's those who hold that idea, that perspective. Oh, well, they just want attention. But many folks with BPD need appropriate attention, and a lot of times they don't know how to get it. And there is this odd belief, right, that if you withhold the attention, right, or if you ignore them or freeze them out, that will somehow teach them to not engage in attention-seeking maladaptive behaviors. That is a complete fallacy. That just isn't the case. And in this video, we're going to talk about BPD and attention, specifically attention-seeking behaviors. So please, right? And let's get on with it. Here we go. Now, maladaptive attention-seeking behaviors can include, now this list isn't exhaustive, of course, right? But it can include saying provocative or rude things to elicit a reaction, even a negative or hostile one, purposely annoying others or starting fights, exhibiting learned helplessness, which is saying that you can't do something or carry out a task to change a negative situation, but you do have the ability to do so. And another one is often posting one's troubles on social media and embellishing the severity, self-harming threats, gestures, or behaviors, and being inappropriately flirtatious or engaging in inappropriate sexual displays. So those are those maladaptive attention-seeking behaviors. And you may have, other ones that you engage in as well. You can leave them in the comments if you want. Please be selective, right, and careful what you put in there. We just want you to be safe. Now, many are mental health providers, right, who hold the view that starving the individual with BPD of attention will teach them to not engage in behaviors to get attention. This just doesn't make sense and it doesn't work. All human beings need some form of attention and some degree of attention. And when they're starved, individuals act out, BPD or not. Now, this is not to say that all attention-seeking behaviors should be attended to. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But if you know someone with BPD who engages in attention-seeking behaviors, ostracizing them is not going to help the issue. It will inflame it. Okay, so many individuals with BPD, first of all, they grew up in attention neglectful environments, right? Whether this was family, friends, or even other types of environments, it could be in school, could be in sports, whatever it was. So this cold shoulder tactic is not going to teach the person with BPD a lesson, but justify their core content, that inner critic, and it will encourage maladaptive beliefs, behaviors, and patterns, and that's not what you want to do. You have to engage in an adaptive and suitable manner, which will sometimes be very difficult, right? I mean, that's the truth, right? It's not always going to be easy, but it can be really effective. So the question becomes, right, what can you do about it to help someone who has BPD, and how can they benefit from and learn more adaptive seeking behaviors? Because that's what we want to do, right? We want to change those maladaptive attention seeking behaviors into adaptive ones. We don't want to starve them out of attention. That doesn't make any sense. That's just not going to work. So we have to change the maladaptive to adaptive. And I can tell you, in my 20 years plus of doing this, that it does take time. But there is a payoff at the end of the road. So here we go. So first, you have to try and keep your emotions in check, right? That doesn't mean the individual with BPD. That means the person who's responding to them. And sometimes that's really hard to do, but you got to do it, right? Some of you may have experiences of your phone being blown up, the inappropriate pop-up at work, or when you're having a guy's night or girl's night out and they pop up, right? And they become like interlopers, like, oh my God, I can't believe they showed up and here they are, right? I know it and I get it, but it's time to institute change, right? We have to keep our emotions in check. You have to be aware of your current feelings and in process situation. That's step one. Step two, Talk to the person with BPD and explain that you care about them, right? And you want to be able to help them. And in doing so, you're going to set up what's called a contact routine. And you're going to explain that this is a benefit to you as it allows them to have access to you and get your full attention while also allowing you time to attend to other things in your life, which doesn't mean you don't care about that other individual. It just means that your life has multiple domains. That's like all of ours, right? You have other areas other than this person that has to be dealt with, and that can be really hard for folks with BPD, and I recognize that this is going to be challenging and a sensitive conversation for some, but that's why reassurance that this does not mean abandonment is really important. Also, you don't want to have this conversation when they're showing up at guys or girls night or when they're blowing your phone up or anything like that. You want to strike when the iron's cold. That means when all seems calm, right? Everything seems kind of chill. That's when you want to have conversations about this. Recognize that if they do have some of those classic core content symptoms and issues, which is abandonment, emptiness, some of those are going to get triggered. That's why that reassurance is so important. And also, you have to be in a spot or in a place where you're comfortable dealing with that, okay? And helping them get through it. That's really, really important. Third, you're going to set up your contact routine. For example, let's say you're living with this person and you're in a committed relationship with them and they have intense abandonment fears that causes attention-seeking behaviors like I mentioned just a second ago, right? So the contact routine could be, and this is just an example, right? This doesn't mean this is what you have to do because your life and schedule is going to be different, of course, right? But here's the example, okay? So you may say to them, I'll text you when I get to work so that you know I'm safe. I'll call you between 10 and 10:30 so we can talk about how your day is going and what's going on. I'll text you after lunch, right? And I'll call you between 2:30 and 3 so we can talk about how things are going. I'll text you when I'm leaving work and heading home, or I'll let you know if I'm going somewhere after. Set this up as you'd like, right? And what fits with your schedule. Obviously, that's important, right? Now, the important thing, though, is to provide something that is routine and dependable that fits into your schedule as well as theirs. Now, this may seem like a lot of contacts throughout the day, but these short contacts help reassure the other person that you're still present, and it decreases the likelihood of them acting out in those attention-seeking behaviors. It also allows you time to focus on other parts of your life that you need to. And it doesn't mean you love them any less. Doesn't mean you care about them any less. This doesn't mean that they're not important to you. It just means that you only have so much attention to give out, and managing it to address all aspects of your life allows you to be more attentive and helpful, but also helps you take care of yourself too. And that's critical. If we don't help ourselves, we can't help anyone else. And it's so important that we do that. Now, over time, you'll find that reassurance sets in. The routine provides a sense of stability. Stability gives the person with BPD a feeling of safety and connection. And this is one of the best tools to help them manage their BPD beliefs, behaviors, and patterns. Yeah, it's going to take time, right? Just like when you pour concrete, it takes a while for that concrete to solidify. It's the same thing with predictability and safety, particularly for those with BPD. And fourth and last, if it is not an emergency, and define what an emergency is with that other person, they need to wait until the scheduled contact. Now, this is where it can get really tricky, right? This is where it can get tough. And this is why therapy is so important for those with BPD, to learn those adaptive strategies, to not engage in maladaptive behaviors, such as attention-seeking behaviors, and also exercise containment. Containment is critical to controlling BPD, maladaptive beliefs, behaviors, and patterns, and it really, really is. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Please leave any comments about how you manage attention-seeking behaviors, and that would be great because that helps a lot of folks, and that's what we want. We want to create this positive community. And thank you again for your time and attention, and like, share, and subscribe. And please take care and have a good day. Thanks. Bye-bye.